Ybor City, a bustling Floridian town nestled just outside of downtown Tampa. For generations, it's been home to hard-working immigrant families. The city endured violence, heartbreak, and thousands of unforeseen deaths. Angered and lost spirits are said to still roam the streets, demanding answers from the living. (1886), Cuba was fighting for their independence from Spain.
Spain was a very oppressive regime because they had lost the Americas. They lost Florida, Mexico, Central America, and South America, and their last holdout was Cuba, and they had no intention of ever letting it go.
Vicente Martinez Ybor, a well-known cigar manufacturer, put his business at risk by publicly supporting the war.
He sympathized with the Cubans because of the oppressive regime of Spain. He had to leave because he was on the verge of being arrested, and if they arrested you in Cuba, you might not be seen or heard from again.
Following the advice of a friend, Ybor made his way to a 40-acre tract of land in Tampa, Florida.
But the land was all swamp and marsh, mosquito-ridden, snake-ridden, alligator-infested, and they wanted a lot of money for the property, and he was only willing to pay half of it. So he was about to board a ship to leave to go back to Key West when the Tampa Board of Trade came up and said, "We'll pay the other half of the purchase price if you'll pay your half." And he said, "Okay, we have a deal."
Ybor quickly went to work, and in 1888, the world's largest cigar factory was built.
The cigar factory workers that worked in the cigar factory got pretty bored after being here for about a year with not much around in this new town. And they petitioned and they wanted to have, different buildings built for them, such as, general stores and places to go dancing with ladies and, just a place to have fun. They also didn't have any health care. They didn't have doctor's offices. So these buildings started to be built for these cigar factory workers.
El Círculo Cubano de Tampa was built in 1917. The lavish building served as both an entertainment hub and a medical clinic for Ybor City's Cuban community.
These buildings had doctor's offices, like this one has a doctor's office downstairs. It had a pool here. They had bowling alleys. And on the top floor, they had a huge ballroom.
So Ybor City started going into decline in the 1930s. During the Depression, people couldn't afford a luxury item like a cigar. If you don't have any money, you have to start making cuts somewhere. So the cigar industry suffered. Plus, there was an introduction of cigarettes.
The once music-filled rooms were left empty, drawing out the darkness that lurked within. Today, the club is known for the malevolent spirits that roam the halls. Those who enter are sure to experience something terrifying.
My name's Krissy Koplen, and I'm a paranormal investigator. I've been doing ghost hunting for over 25 years. And I've been coming to the Cuban Club for about 13 years with ghost party haunted tours. Had a couple of my first real paranormal experiences here in this building. Dark shadows coming out of closets. We've had closets open up and you sit there and wait and nobody comes out and says boo. And you hear footsteps walking towards you and scratches on the walls. One of our most notable ghost experiences here in the building actually happened to a caretaker years ago. 13 years ago, he brought 3 of his sons here, and there's a ladies' bathroom upstairs on the 3rd floor. And he would let the boys go in the ladies' room and then go to the bathroom and then wash up. And he had the boys in there, and he walks out, and they were about to leave, and he realized the youngest son was not with him. So the dad comes in and calls out to him and says, what are you doing in here? Come on, let's go. And he didn't answer, and he heard the whispering, and he heard a woman's voice and the little boy talking. And he's banging on the door, and he's jiggling it, and he's like, let me in. And the little boy says, I can't, I don't know how. So the dad has to crawl underneath, and he goes, who have you been here talking to? And the little boy says, the lady up there. And he's looking at the ceiling.
The paranormal occurrences continue today, wreaking havoc on everyone who steps through the doors. Once inside, you can't shake the feeling that someone or something is watching from beyond the grave.